The third thing that has been a challenge has been strategy, or lack of it. Because if they don't know where they are going, they don't have a strategy to get there. And so part of it has been the alienating environment that alienates just about everybody, including Barney, Pityana is the enemy. So that you're never able to identify who in fact are your friends, your partners, your comrades, your colleagues, people in different places with whom actually are with you in this journey. Vice Chancellors en route are written off. And many of the Vice Chancellors are actually very much, like I said, Max Price at UCT was the first one to say, there's no place for Cecil John Rhodes on this campus. And Adam Habib has been at pains to point out that actually the struggle itself has got legitimacy, the matter of fees. But actually, it's this inability to recognize the potential of partners and partnerships that there is, and craft together a strategy to arrive at a concrete and defensible fundamental solution to it. The only method, which I dare say is not strategy in my book, the only method have been the extent of violence and threats of violence, intolerance about difference, and also, you know, this idea of the crowd. The idea of the crowd, meaning that you take cover in the crowd and the voices of the people do not need to be heard, and those voices are suppressed. That's why you find arson, intimidation, and all of that has been the tool for much of these actions. And I often say, the reason in fact that is the case is because there is no identifiable strategy and there is no ideology behind it. And that is also why, as part of the emergent culture that takes place, the issues of racism and race, intolerance about gender, for example, LGBTIQ people, in this environment, there's a great deal of intolerance and suppression of difference. But I think at the bottom of it all, for us, is the idea of an African university. I think not enough time is spent in really trying to say together across the board, there is a problem about the university. One sometimes wonders whether actually young people today know why they should be at university at the age of 19 and qualify in something. Beyond saying that we go to university in order to be employed and to support our siblings, support our parents, which is important, is to try to find something deeper about what it is that the university is about in terms of constructing and nurturing the human person that we are, and what our role in the development of our humanity is in society, and how we see the future of humanity and our role in it. And the idea of a university is never in the forefront beyond the utility of acquiring a certificate and be a certificated person. Rather than, as W.E.B. Du Bois says, rather than be a person, a man or a woman of civilization, of gentility, of decency, of caring and loving and intelligence. to be a person who actually matters in the construction of being, and with the intelligence and the tools to be curious about things and to be prepared to construct that reality again. When I said this the other day to some of my colleagues at universities, they say, you know, actually, Professor, the truth of the matter, we actually don't do that at universities. Actually, students come and go from university. All they know, they need to get a certificate. Nobody actually helps them to understand who they are. This morning, I was listening to the radio about this thing that's called rape culture at universities. And I say to myself, you know, unless I'm mad, I have no recollection of there being rape at a university where I've ever been. Where girl students or women students were subjected to rape. I don't remember that. Now, if it is so serious that it has become a culture, then it says something about what it is that we are actually growing our students to become. And I was saying, what are we doing at our universities these days? But more importantly, what are we doing about the culture and character of being African? What is it about being African that we talk about? We talk about decolonization. We talk about African. What actually do we mean? What exactly is it about? Let me come to my last points at the end of this. My last point is this. On the downside, there is a real and imminent threat to the idea of a university in our country. And the reason there is that universities are incapable of sustaining sustained instability and wreckage and ill discipline by its nature. The intellectual work, academic work, is about discipline and an environment. So before we know what's happening, what's going to happen is that more and more academics in this country, we're going to get a brain drain, like happened in many African universities at the height of the 1960s and 70s. Next thing that's going to happen, more parents are going to increasingly send their students to the neighboring universities here to study, or already many of them are sending students to Namibia and places like that. And the growth of private universities in our country is not a mistake. It is in fact a direct result of this. So we're going to find the growth of private universities.